Okay, this is a good way to start my vlog, kind of a backgroundy kind of thing. This is an assignment in my detox. It's called Truth of My Addiction. Um, the first stage is preoccupation. Instead of, so back in 96, 97, my addiction, I've been over 30 years. That gives my age, but oh well. Um, Instead of going to rehab, I stopped to get one more bag and never made it to that rehab, but wound up living homeless in Palm Beach County in Lake Worthless, where I slept under a bridge, and that's where a lot of my PTSD came from. Number two, instead of being a special needs teacher, parapro, at an elementary school where I taught 4 years, I allowed drugs to turn me into a Dixie chick. I walked Dixie Highway doing whatever I had to do to get drugs. Number three, instead of using my high school scholarship to any Florida college, fully paid, I dropped out and went to the beach to get high. Before that, I had never made a B in my life. It was all A's. Number four, instead of being afraid of consequences, I kept violating probation and parole and getting arrested and going to jail and prison multiple times. I probably spent 7 from the time, 10 years, 7 of those 10 years I was incarcerated. Attempts to control. In my attempt to control my using, number one, I added stimulants to my drug of choice to self-medicate and balance my state of mind to prevent my power napping behind the wheel and face planting all the time, causing blackouts, bruises, hurtful falls, and blowing up on someone else in the blackout. Like, I would blame people for things that I wound up doing. I wound up installing a camera and was shocked at how disgusting and sad it was. Number two, in an attempt to control my using, I would hide my substances from myself, but would forget I did that and accuse everyone around me of stealing, and only to find it later. In an attempt to control my using, I would delete numbers of the dealers or any negative influence, only to scan text messages later to try to find it, or just show up at their house to get the number again. Instead, in an attempt to control my using, I got on Suboxone and Methadone, which was worse than the substance, and just to do ungodly amounts to push them through the antagonist and get unsick. I found out you still use, you just would have to do a lot to push through the methadone or Suboxone ceiling. Number five, I asked friends to not let me use and just went off on them until they caved and would finally tell me, don't ask me to do that again. Accidents and destructive behavior. 1 was suicidal attempts. 2, 3 total vehicles in the last 6 months, and many prior where I injured myself and others. 3, had an ex purposely wreck my truck when we were messed up because I was going to leave him. He said, if you're going to leave me, we're both going to go, and drove off a cliff. The truck rolled and flipped. He was projected through the windshield, and the truck landed on him and killing him and causing me severe PTSD. I was in situations where I was raped multiple times, getting drugs. That was bad. Sex trafficking. Anytime someone offered to help, it wound up making my situation worse. Number 5, I was allowed very mentally, physically abusive. I allowed very mentally and physically abusive relationships, and drug use came before my children, and men before my children, and that's sick to me today. Number 6, caused health problems, blackouts, and lots of PTSD. Okay. This is blackouts continued. On my bathroom, I blacked out, woke up on my bathroom floor with broken glass and blood everywhere. My dog hiding in the tub. I blacked out and woke up with my whole family mad at me. I was just in the kitchen cooking spaghetti. But my kids had gotten on the bus to go to school. This was a while ago, and while they were gone, I thought I would just do some Ambiens. When they got home from school, I had overdosed, and they found me in the tub. They thought I was dead. Number 4, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, when I was heading home from Murphy, North Carolina to Hayesville, it's a 30-minute drive. I came to again in a church building I had drove into 10 miles from my house. It was just being built and just framework and concrete. The receptionist of the church called the law on me that I was taking Oxys and Xanax at a friend's house the night before, and I don't know how I got there. Number 5, I blacked out and woke up on the side of the road, totaled my truck, cops all over. It was dark. It was light out when I left. I was cleaning a house that morning. It was light out when I left, and it was dark when I came to in Toccoa, Georgia. The effects on my family. 1, my father found me on the floor in my garage with a lit cigarette burning into my neck and completely naked, and said, "Stephanie, what the F is wrong with you?" Number 2, my father blamed me for years for killing my mother because I was court-ordered into a 1-year drug treatment after she had been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and doing chemo and radiation. Later, he said he was sorry and that they kept her alive. Raising my children kept her alive because of the love she had for them. But I blame myself a lot. Came to in a hospital at Stevens County, hooked up on machines, where I stayed a week, and transferred to Northeast Georgia because of severe head trauma. They found me in the cell, unresponsive, coming off of the fentanyl, and called my children to let them know I was in the hospital and did not tell them if I was dead or alive, just that I was there. And I came to with my whole family and my sponsor standing at the foot of the bed, and the look on their face, I'll never forget. Effects on my family. Some of these I just can't say out loud. Number 5, my children both had to cut ties with me when I relapsed because my daughter said, "Mom, I had to go back to therapy because I can't even focus on work because I'm so worried if you're okay." My son said, "My friends all tell me, and I feel like you're toxic for me, and I'm having panic attacks because I am afraid you're going to die." The effects on social. Recall events and how behaviors affect others. I began isolating and only leaving the house to get drugs. My friends all said they missed me and tried to do an intervention, but I lashed out and threatened them and refused, so they abandoned me. My children had to separate from me and family, and they were my world. My children had to separate from me and family, and they were my world. My son took my dog, and they all said they won't help or hang with me or return my dog until I got back into treatment. I allowed toxic ex-boyfriend and a psycho roommate live with me because I was using. It was not healthy enough to set boundaries. Number 4, I would only reach out to keep people in my life that I could benefit from and manipulate. I manipulated everyone. 5, I would rage on people when I was high and make situations 10 times worse. Number 6, got arrested multiple times, causing embarrassment to my children, my friends, and my family, and myself. Effects on spiritual. Due to my using, I no longer did my spiritual practices. I felt disconnected from Creator and no longer heard His voice. I no longer go to meetings in church. I stopped praying and meditating. My peace and joyful attitude was gone because I was no longer spiritually fit, making poor decisions, causing depression. Effects on emotional and cognitive. Due to my using, I was an emotional roller coaster imbalanced. I was making very poor decisions like driving with expired tags, no insurance to go get drugs. Effects on emotional. Due to my using, I suffered from short-term memory loss. I would rage so bad, my dog Apollo would hide in the bathtub. I would lose or misplace everything and spend 90% of my day looking for random things. Effects on financial. Due to my using, I spent over $250,000 inheritance in 5 years. I ruined my credit score from a 760 to a 379. And I worked so hard to get that up. It was a 500 when I was in treatment. And when I had stayed clean for the 5 years, I brought it up from a 5 to a 760, and now it's at 379. I maxed out all my credit cards. I lost $100,000 in credit, not being able to get credit cards unless it was secured now. I had an American Express, a Discover card. I got a credit card. Now I can't get any cards. Effects on physical. Due to my using, I lost 30 pounds, causing me to look really like a skeleton. I aged 100 years with wrinkles because I looked dehydrated. Vitamin and nutrient deficiency caused health problems. My blood pressure has been really super high coming off the opiates. Illegal. These dates are, I don't even know. For 2017, I raided the house. August 98, stealing. August 2004, criminal attempt to acquire controlled substance by fraud, forgery. 2004, first offenders are violated. 2005, embezzlement, forgery. 2006, counterfeiting, possession. 2007, possession with intent. 2 DUIs. 2008 and 2025. Possession of fent. Possession of meth, possession of crack. 2008, possession of Roxy's, possession of meth with content. Terror. I felt terror when I couldn't remember when I would black out driving and wouldn't know where I was at. I felt terror when I was arrested with a lot of drugs on me that I could get trafficking. I felt terror when I was sentenced to prison. I felt terror when I was raped. I was attacked by 7 men walking home from a bar. Felt terror when I was sex trafficked by multiple men. I felt terror when I was being beaten up by several ex-boyfriends. I felt terror when I was left in an airport and my car was stolen. I felt terror when I was alone and homeless, sleeping under a bridge. I felt terror when police busted my house. I felt terror when I was sold to gang members in a trap house. So, that is a lot. I won't post this publicly, but that was just for me to remember when I think that I got this and that I wasn't that bad. Because you just will draw a line and say, I'd never do this. Well, I'd never do this. And you cross that line. And the line keeps getting further and further and further to where, before you know it, there's nothing left of you anymore. And it's this hollow shell, and you have crossed every line that you swore you would never do. And that's not me today. I will do whatever I have to do. I have 6 months today. So, I'm going to get ready and go to the Zone, which is in Marietta, a place to do my community service hours because I'm off today, and straighten up my room and take a shower and call my sponsor, work on my 4 steps more, my fears, and yeah, that's my day. A meeting tonight. to pick up my 6-month check.